This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we cover the anime, the 4Kids TV dub of One Piece. Joel,
Yes.
treasure, fame, fortune, weird censorship.
What? Wait.
All this and more can be found in the world of the 4Kids TV dub of One Piece.
Oh, I can't wait.
Which will be capping out our anime of 2025.
Yes.
But first, we need to go to Andrew's Anime Alley of Fun Facts for our final fact of anime. The anime Death Note was banned in China because it became so popular that kids used to buy Death Note notebooks and wrote the names of people they hated, wishing they would die.
Well then.
So, this is a special review, that theme song. But both know.
You're just gonna brush over the fact that happened.
What more can we say?
I don't know. It's just funny.
Here's the challenge that I give to everybody. We're gonna rate this up top. This theme song for 4Kids TV One Piece is a 0 for me. I assume it's a 0 for you as well, Joel.
Yeah.
I want to see how far you, the listening audience. And is this the whole one? Because I know it gets longer as the series goes on.
This is what would be like the first season opener.
Okay.
You want me to play the long one? Yeah,
Play the long one.
Okay.
We're only going to do this once.
If you're One Piece fans, you understand the opening. You get the little narration at the beginning, and then the song. But you ready, Andrew?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Don't give it up, Lupe. Don't give it up, Solo. Don't give it up now, man. Don't give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. Here's how the story goes. We find out about a treasure in the Grand Line. There's no doubt. The pirate whose eye is on it, he'll sing. I'll be king of the pirates. I'm gonna be king.
Gotta go.
That's Monkey D. Luffy.
That's Monkey D. Luffy.
No, hold on.
Yo ho, we took a bite of gum gum.
That's the best part. You know what I want to do so badly?
What?
I want to find the guy who did this rap, and I want him to do the One Piece rap, but with everyone who's on the crew now.
Yes.
So all the way to Jinbei.
Like, hey man, I hope you can do a 2.5 long song.
You got 5 hours to kill. I almost don't care how much it would cost him to do it. Do you know who did it? Were you able to find that out, or did he like bury his name?
So I could not find who did it, but it is referred to as One Piece rap or pirate rap. It was featured on the video game Grand Battle Rush, which that was a pretty fun little video
right there
game.
that it was rapped by Sean Conrad.
Sean Conrad? Oh, yes,
Yeah.
there it is. And Russell Valkraz.
Oh my God. We got their contact information. All I got to do is find out where they, if they do commissions.
We want a modern day One Piece rap, a new one, but you got to do all new characters.
Yeah, you got to do everybody.
Robin, Frankie. You got to figure it out. Hey,
Yeah, it's weird because Robin is in it.
yeah,
In the
but only
4Kids
for
dub,
like
but she does.
a period though, right?
Yeah, because I guess they never get to Water 7.
No,
So she never officially joins the crew.
exactly. So that's
yeah,
kind of
that's
one
right.
of those gray
We'll get
areas.
into how the 4Kids episode, 4Kids dub ends, but so we kind of know the story of how this kind of got made. It was super popular, and then 4Kids TV unfortunately won the bid.
Yeah, they won the bid. President of 4K's division at that time, Norman Grossfeld, he was the executive producer for the English version of the series. And shame on him. Shame.
So luckily, in April 13th of 2007, Funimation / Crunchyroll was able to take over, but they for good reason did not use the 104 episodes of the 4Kids TV dub.
And thank God they did not. We thank you, Funimation, for that. Thank you.
Do we get to the cast and then talk about the various localization and censoring?
Let's do that. This is, like you said, not
that's
any
really
history.
the bulk of it.
Oh,
the
yeah.
history of how One Piece got made. You can go to any podcast and figure this out.
It was a manga. There you go.
It was a manga, it got popular, so they made it into an anime. The end. All right, episode over. Play the theme music.
Thank you, guys. But yeah, we need to talk about the censorship that just ruined this series.
I don't want to say that I'm exaggerating that much, but I'm pretty sure if 4Kids kept going and Funimation didn't take over, or like they just like it went so badly, it would have killed One Piece in the West.
Yeah, it would have. It really would have.
Nobody would have cared about it.
No.
And I feel like it took forever for a lot of people to get into One Piece because of the 4Kids TV dub.
Yeah, I don't think it really. The 4Kids dub did not help. It was like an intro to One Piece for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But then most of those people either hated it, never gave it another shot, or at least went out of their way to find the unedited.
I know it made me not want to watch it.
Yeah.
It took me forever. Funny story, when Joel and I first met, I had only watched this dub, and he kept referring to Zoro as Zoro, Roanoa Zoro, and I only knew him as his 4Kids name,
Zolo.
Roanoa Zolo.
Zolo.
And I was like, no, his name is Zolo. And he's like, you're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, when I watched it as a kid. And
I thought I was going crazy. I was like, I know it's not Zolo, but
it was
okay.
almost like a man-made Mandela effect.
Yep.
But let's get into, we'll do a brief cast rundown. So the cast for the 4Kids TV dub of One Piece is the narrator is Eric Stewart, Monkey D. Luffy is Bella Hudson, Roanoa Zolo and Genzo is Mark Darrison, Usopp and Yasop is Jason Griffin, and finally Sanji is David Moo. Oh, and a big part of the 4Kids TV dub and why some things happened. Tony Chopper is voiced by Lisa Ortiz.
Tony Chopper.
So for their other works, we have Eric Stewart is Brock and James from season 1 through 8 of the original Pokemon anime.
Okay.
Erica Schroeder is Blaze the Cat and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic.
Mark Darrison is Guts in the dub of Berserk.
All right.
Jason Griffith is Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing.
Sonic.
David Moo
Please tell me he plays a cow.
Icha the Killer in episode 0. Or he's he's Harno. I said that wrong. I know I said that wrong. That sounded wrong as it was coming out of my dumb white ass mouth.
What?
And Lisa Ortiz is Pony in Gale Force Eternal Story.
Gale Force.
Yeah. Or Gall Force? Gall?
It's sounds like it would be like a My Pretty Pony or My Little Pony.
Who knows?
Kind of show.
So the voice cast varies in voice quality.
Yes.
But who would you vote is the worst one?
Hated Sanji's voice.
Through the forums and in various videos that I watched, Sanji seems to be the most hated.
Why?
VO of all of them.
Why?
I was not a big fan of Luffy.
Oh yeah, no, Luffy is annoying.
Luffy sounds like a little girl.
Yeah.
Like I know that in a lot of anime, women will voice the main character. This did not translate well at all.
No, it does
He
not.
just sounds like a little 8-year-old girl.
Yeah. Yeah, like I get he's supposed to be like 16 when he's setting out on his adventure or whatever.
Yeah, still,
16 or
you got
18.
some bass in your voice at 16.
Yeah, it's...
I know I'm probably not the best person to talk about bass in their voice, but excuse me, but still.
Yeah, that's right, Andrew.
But Sanji is like, hey. I didn't know they had a New Jersey in One Piece until he started talking.
They took one look at Sanji and that like little like goatee thing he's got, and he's like, he's from Jersey.
That's a Jersey boy. He's like, I'm cooking over here.
I'm cooking over here now. You watch these legs. God.
So, smoking and alcohol were completely taken out. The best part of the 4Kids TV dub is the many creative ways they edit out guns.
Dude, it is crazy. They will literally turn the guns into water guns.
They'll turn them into whatever they need them to be, which is super funny because one of the main things about Luffy that everyone has such a hard time with him, especially in, the beginning seasons, is he's bulletproof.
Bullets bounce off of him.
Yeah, and it's like they can't. There's one that makes me laugh. So it's like the flashback of like when he meets red-haired Shanks.
Yeah.
And instead of putting a gun up to his head, it's a champagne bottle. It's like they threaten to pop the cork
Like,
in his face.
I'm threatening you with a good time, mister.
Another thing, there was no blood.
No.
And, this might be a spoiler heavy for One Piece, the real one. So one of the things that was pretty important about blood in One Piece is that's how he defeats Crocodile in the Alabaster arc.
Not in 4Kids.
But in this one, he just does sweat.
So I watched all the way up to the Alabaster arc when this show was airing on 4Kids, because I remember the sweat when he defeats Crocodile.
I don't even think I got that far. I think I got to where they introduced Sanji.
I was a glutton for punishment. I just love I wanted to get more pirate stuff in my life, I guess.
I did enjoy Pirates.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I remember going back and watching, actual One Piece and was just like, oh, this is a lot better than him having to use his sweat to defeat Crocodile.
So the one thing I could not figure out, and maybe it was just a copyright thing, I could not figure out why they changed Zorro to Zolo.
I almost feel like it might have been a copyright thing because, like the mask of Zorro.
Yeah,
That
I
kind
mean,
of stuff.
that's the only thing I can think of.
It must
I
have been
do
too
think
close.
it's really interesting. So they cut out several arcs in the 4Kids TV dub, and it's for one thing and one thing only.
What?
They needed to fast track to introduce Tony Chopper because
money.
they knew he was a merchandise dynamo.
The money maker.
So they skip Buggy's Crew Adventure Chronicles, the Warship Island arc, Reverse Mountain arc, Diary of Kobe Meppo, the Little Garden arc, Goat Island arc, and individual episodes from the Arlon Park arc, Lounge Town arc, and Post Alabaster arcs were all removed.
Holy crap.
They have to re-edit and explain how they get the log pose because that is completely taken out. Because
who needs backstory?
They also have to, they had to take out the Reverse Mountain arc because the Warship Island arc explains why they had to take it in the first place. And that means they don't reference Laugh Tale in the 4Kids dub at all.
Yeah, no.
Because it's
Dude, this show is just so bad. It's so quick. Like, okay, maybe that's a bad word to use with One Piece.
There's one thing that made me laugh pretty hard that I didn't remember. So I rewatched. I bounced around a lot, and when Mihawk shows up for the first time, because I watched the dub of One Piece. That's how I caught up.
Yeah,
this is kind of our celebration of
One Piece.
Andrew is up to date on One Piece.
Finally.
Joel is up to date on One Piece, and Mihawk has a French accent.
Oui, oui.
And I completely forgot. And he goes, I am Dracula Mihawk. And you're like, what the fuck? You don't use a cannon to kill a pony, oh mon ami.
I do. There's a part of me that wish this would have continued on as like a unedited version. Just so we could hear what some of the characters would have sounded like. Like, can you imagine Marshall Teach, Blackbeard?
Oh, dude, who would they have picked?
Right? Like, sometimes, how would you have done that? Dude, I was telling...
The overhaul they had to do to change Captain Smoker.
Oh, I was just about to...
insane.
I was telling Brittany about Captain Smoker in this and how hilarious it is where they're like, well, we'll just edit out the cigars and just have this man with like his mouth open constantly.
He's
just breathing out smoke constantly.
And they renamed him Captain Chaser. Which I feel like they could have just said his name is Captain Smoke. But they called him Captain Chaser because he was chasing Luffy all the time.
Clever one, guys. Oh, who's? I mean, I know the names in One Piece are not clever already.
Oh yeah, they're not.
Smoker,
awesome.
What's your power? The power of smoke.
Also,
Cool.
Another weird one. A lot of the clothing was changed to say the Navy rather than the Marines. I don't know. Like some of these changes, like I get for censorship, and then other ones, I'm like, did they not think that kids knew what Marines were?
I guess not. Maybe though. I don't know. Like, it makes no sense. I did read that the whole reason they edited this thing so much was so they could get it onto Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
that was
See,
like,
I remember watching this on Fox Kids.
yeah, I remember watching it on Fox Kids, but apparently it
Yeah,
originally,
it got sent to Toonami
Yeah.
when it got canceled and put off the air because Toonami was like, for a while outside of Dragon Ball Z, Toonami was like a graveyard.
yeah, you had,
And then
you had
later they
Gundam
got to
Wing.
introduce One Piece uncut.
Oh, and that was
Another thing that we haven't really touched on yet is this weird thing that 4Kids TV did with all of their animes is they just thought that Japanese culture would melt our poor Western brains, replacing origami with chocolate chip cookies is probably one of my favorite things they did.
they won't know what these little paper cranes are, so give them chocolate chip cookies, make them eat more.
Their justification for this was because they did this in Pokemon, you know, such as making the
jelly
rice balls
donut?
jelly donuts. And I remember they did something else, and I remember if you go back and watch it, it is such a horribly censored thing. But like Ash loses a piece of food, but they turn it into a sub sandwich. But, you know, their excuse for this is like they made it a universal show no matter what country you were in, because more people could relate to donuts than sushi. But I feel like you could explain sushi and origami to a kid, or at the very least, it would inspire them to ask questions
Be like, hey, what's
about
this?
other cultures.
I remember doing origami in like elementary school. It's like the
I don't know. It
was weird.
We said this earlier in the extended audio, but this took so much effort and made it so much worse for it.
That's what is crazy. The amount of money and time they went in to edit what was already so successful.
Yeah, I mean,
Blows my mind.
it has a lot to do with, you know, we're a little lax here in 2025 when it comes to censorship and what kids can handle. But it's like, you know, they thought, you know, this is not to get weird, but this is post 9/11.
Yeah.
And this is post Columbine. So they were so afraid of showing kids over here guns because they were just terrified that we would go and shoot up a school. But really, at the end of the day, 4Kids did exactly what it needed to do with the One Piece dub, and that was get the merchandise out.
Yeah. And look,
Because
who's to say if we never had this dub, maybe One Piece wouldn't be where it's at today. You know,
one of the most popular animes
maybe because
out there.
over here it's become big as well. And you know that's
Yeah, I know.
that's-
You think
yeah.
4Kids TV helped?
I
in
think
that
it was
regard?
I think it was an introduction to just the pirate story of One Piece and got enough people watching actual One Piece. If that
So
makes
you
sense.
think it was a necessary evil?
Yes. Cuz like
So you think if
I-
they just gave it to us as is,
well
it would not be as popular over here? Like this is like a comeback story?
no, I think it would have been popular, but I think it would have taken a lot longer to break out into the American audience than when it did. I think it just sped up the timeline, if that made sense.
I got you. That's
Yeah.
an interesting take because I'm pretty sure this is what almost killed it over here.
I
I'm
think
pretty sure it would have been more popular had they just not, if they had not overhauled with the censorship as much as they did.
all I know is that this dub made me fall in love with the characters, even though the characters were kind of bad. to the point
and their
when,
voice acting was
yeah, because
terrible.
I probably didn't start actually watching the unedited One Piece until I would say 2007. But I had to go out of my way to find it. So
Yeah.
and I would have never cared to if I didn't watch the Four Kids one and was just like, I love this story. I love.
So you were just like, there has to be a better version of this.
Basically, I was just like, you know what? This is getting kind of stupid. Let me just watch it subbed, and fell in love.
That's a very interesting take.
And I will say, this series settles the debate between subs and dubs because, I mean,
I don't know about all that.
Look.
It's because this is a little more than just your average run of the mill sub. This is almost a completely different show.
this is my favorite example to use to settle
This
that
is
debate.
this is the subs versus dubs trump card. This is subs like ace in the hole. They're like anytime that they're losing an argument when it comes to they're like, fuck, I got nothing. Oh, wait a second.
Four Kids.
Gonna pull out Old Faithful.
Four Kids. One
What about
Piece.
that Four Kids TV dub of One Piece? And everybody who watches dubs is like, fuck.
We had to use that one.
So, Joel,
Yes.
are you curious to know how the Four Kids TV dub ends?
Yes. I'm dying
So
to, Andrew.
you get a whole 104 episodes, and it is right before they figure out what Skypiea is. They don't actually ever make it there.
Okay.
The episode in the dub, it's called Pasta La Vista,
Ooh.
and it is the start of the Jaya arc, and it is the crew leaving the Rainbow Mist Island when a ship falls on them, and then it gives you the to be continued. But then that show went away. Oh yeah, we did mention that Sanji is a candy fiend, but
Yep.
basically the Four Kids One Piece crew is just assumed dead because the ship fell on them
That's it.
and they sunk. And this version of Zolo and Tony Chopper and all of them, they died.
Every
Oh
single-
yeah, one thing before we move to your new reoccurring segment, of which you told me off air they do in sub, is Tony Chopper, when he transforms into his monster form, he has a different voice actor.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a different
he has a
voice
deeper voice.
Yeah, like he'll have
this
a
one,
deeper
he's
voice
it's a different dude
altogether.
Yeah, he's like, so, Tony Chopper sounds more like, he does everywhere, cute, cuddly little thing. And then when he's in his, human form, I guess I'd say,
Yep.
he's like, I'm Chopper over here. He sounds like he sounds like somebody doing a Danny DeVito impression.
And Tony Chopper. That's a terrible Danny DeVito.
I'm Tony Chopper. Hooah! Anywho, Joel, I believe it's time to move to your new reoccurring segment. Reviews that are the king of the pirates and reviews that are a number Zolo.
Excellent, Andrew.
Thank you.
Don't have.
I'm sure that this was an insanely hard thing to find.
I couldn't find any. So
yeah, because there's not really a page that's just dedicated to the Four Kids.
For the Four Kids.
For the reviewing of the Four Kids TV.
Yes. So
I don't think there's anyone who remembers this fondly. So I don't think there's.
Yeah, I mean it. Even if you grew up and you liked it, chances are you've watched the unedited.
You did not like this.
No.
If you like One Piece, you did not like this. And if you went back and watched it, you would be like, And if you don't like One Piece, you either don't like anime or you watch this and just assumed it was just this insane fever dream of cookies as origami and plungers as guns.
If you're a really big fan of One Piece, just watch clips of it, watch an episode or two. I mean, it's at least look
a compilation of the
Yeah.
censorship is amazing.
It's hilarious.
It is so it's honestly impressive how what they picked to censor everything in this show.
I don't even think 4Kids really knew what they was buying with One Piece.
No, I think a lot of we were still learning about anime over here, so to speak, and I don't think they truly knew how adult One Piece really got until they really got into the weeds. Also, the guns in One Piece are barely guns.
They're
like
muskets.
muskets.
Yeah.
Kids could have handled a musket.
Seriously.
For sure. It's not like they were carrying around an AR-15 trying to shoot Luffy. It was, they had little balls. Like it was Revolutionary War
and this
technology.
is when Arnold Schwarzenegger comes out and screams, "Get back to the chopper!
Get back to the chopper!" But so, I don't think we really need to do closing thoughts here.
No.
It was a terrible attempt to localize an anime.
The worst.
Joel thinks without it, One Piece would have been successful, and I think without it, One Piece probably would have caught on way more faster than what we had now.
And we'll never know. We'll never know.
We'll never know the true timeline.
Nope.
But I believe that wraps up the 4Kids TV
Hasta
dub
la
of
vista.
One Piece, along with anime itself.
Goodbye. Wait.
Which doesn't mean that we won't cover animes this year, obviously.
No,
but
we're done with anime. No more.
oh, okay.
Not
You
until
heard him.
next year.
He's in control of the show. This actually isn't a co-effort thing. Joel just
Andrew's
said
actually
shit, and I'm
just
like,
AI, guys.
don't tell him that. It would be funny if I was AI because I'm so staunchly against AI on this show.
The AI
So,
program that hates other AI.
But if you would like to support this AI, you can go to patreon.com/cartoondd. There we have the $5 tier that gets you bonus episodes, extended audio episodes, access to our Discord, and the mega request feature, which we got to take care of a lot of those after anime. And stickers and pins mailed to your door. If you have a regular request, you can go to cartoondumpsterdive.com. There we have the request feature, and maybe check out our store. We are Cartoon DD on Twitter and Blue Sky, and Cartoon Dumpster Dive on all other social media platforms. And as always, thank you for a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice, so we can continue to make these kinds of episodes for you and not be redubbed and censored and localized by 4Kids TV television. Have a great rest of your week.
See ya. Your mama.
This has been a Lugho podcast.